What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Leon Talks TV back here again. Today, we're delving into a topic that many people might not want to talk about, but it's super important: the dating double standards. We are going to explore why some men struggle to date multiple women at the same time or to get to know multiple women simultaneously. Have you ever had that conversation with a woman you're interested in where the topic comes up about whether either of you are talking to or going on dates with other people? Most of the time, a woman is likely talking to and going on dates with multiple people. While it seems like women have the privilege to do so, right? Without much hustle. Because let's talk about the traditional dating dynamic. You see, in many cultures, it's often the man's role to approach women, ask them out, and pay for dates. This means that when a man decides to date multiple women, he not only has to invest his time but also his money. Think about it. If a guy takes a woman on a date, he's spending money on dinner, drinks, and maybe even transportation, whether it's him going to pick her up and dropping her back home or paying for her Uber. Or maybe you're not paying for transport, but most likely you probably most likely will be paying for transport as well. Now, if things don't work out, he might feel like he's wasted that effort and cash. For example, let's say a guy goes on 3 dates in 1 week. That could easily add up to hundreds of dollars, right? Or pounds, however you want to say it. If he's not careful, he might find himself financially drained without any meaningful connections to show for it. While on the other hand, a woman's dating experience is totally different. You see, on the flip side, if you look at a woman's dating experience, women often have the opportunity to talk to multiple men at once without the same financial burden because men traditionally take the lead in asking for dates. Women can explore their options without immediately investing their money. Imagine a woman who goes out with different guys. She can go out for a casual coffee or a lunch, less expensive options. And if she finds someone she clicks with, great. If not, she can keep chatting with other guys without feeling like she's lost a big investment. I would say the only thing really they might lose is an emotional investment in terms of if they really, really like the guy and maybe the guy just was using them for like sex or bedroom fun. That's probably the only thing that they might lose out on. But if we're just sticking on the financial thing, then no, they don't lose much. You see, this dynamic can create a situation where women feel more secure in exploring their options, while men may feel pressure to commit to one woman early on to avoid wasting time and money. You know, it's really interesting to think about how dating experiences can differ between women and men. When I was scrolling through TikTok, I saw a podcast where a woman was talking about her dating life. She mentioned that she had gone on a date with a guy who took her to a fancy restaurant, right? And then on top of that, she had another date lined up for the next day with a different guy, also taking her to another nice place. She was really excited about it. And I thought, that's pretty cool for her. What a life, right? But then it hit me. You know, I heard this one saying like, dating for women can sometimes feel like a shopping spree. They have the freedom to explore different options, try out various experiences, and see what fits them best, much like picking out clothes or trying different dishes at a restaurant. On the flip side, dating for men often feels more like a job interview. They're usually in a position where they feel they need to impress their date, showcase their qualities, and essentially sell themselves in hopes of being chosen. This makes the whole experience seem more serious and high pressure compared to the more carefree approach women might have. You know, another point to illustrate is for men going on dates with women, not only do you invest your time and money, but you also have to be entertaining and come up with the most conversation, especially if it's a girl you can't figure out whether she really likes you or she's not showed you high interest, you know. But a lot of the times you might find yourself in a predicament where you're going to have to do most of the entertaining and as well as doing most of the talking and holding the conversation, as well as doing everything else like spending money, providing transportation, and etc. So it's fascinating to consider these different dynamics. Women can enjoy the fun of exploring their options, while men often face the challenge of proving themselves. It really highlights how society shapes our dating experiences and expectations. So now, when it comes to the top 1% of men, here's where it differs from the average Joe. So let's talk about it. You see, the 1% of men, these are the guys who often have the financial means and social status to date multiple women. Simultaneously, they might be successful entrepreneurs or celebrities or influencers who can afford to treat women to lavish dates and experiences. Because of this, they often attract more attention and can maintain multiple relationships without the same financial strain as the average guy. For example, think of a famous actor. He can easily take several women out on extravagant dates. What's funny that you see all these so-called high value men, the people's like was Dan Bozarian or any other celebrity. Most of these guys, what's funny is that when they end up at high-end restaurants, they probably don't even pay nothing. They probably don't even get charged. It's the average guys that get charged a fortune, you know what I mean? But however, one thing I see online, and I think there's a big misconception among women, because they seem to always believe that in order to go on dates, a man has to spend a lot of money on them, which is ridiculous. They feel like the more money he spends, the more he likes you, which is not true. And I'll explain why. Because a man can spend a lot of money as well just to get a little bit of bedroom fun. But however, I was listening to a debate on a YouTube channel called Stay Slick, where the host, who happens to be a man, was discussing this issue with a woman. She argued that if a man doesn't spend a lot of money on the first date, it means he doesn't really like her. He made a good point in response, saying that just because a man chooses a coffee date or a walk in the park as a first date doesn't mean he doesn't like you. A man doesn't show his high interest based on how much he spends on a date. He quoted, "Men don't invest their sexual time. They invest their time in non-sexual ways." You see, this illustrates that it's not about how much a man spends on a date. If he didn't like you that much, he would have just invited you to his house. Now, let's think about the implications of this mindset. If a woman believes that a high cost date is essential to show interest, it can lead to unrealistic expectation. It might pressure men to feel like they have to spend money to impress rather than simply focusing on making a meaningful connection. So you see, the dating double standards highlights the different experience men and women face in the dating world. While some men struggle to date multiple women due to financial pressures and society expectations, many women have the freedom to explore their options without the same burdens. So it's important for everyone to navigate these dynamics mindfully, focusing on genuine connections rather than superficial pursuits. Remember, dating is about finding someone who is into you and appreciates you. So at the end of the day, just be mindful of that. Anyways, thank you for joining me today. If you find this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you noticed these dynamics in your life? I would love to hear your experiences. Until next time, take care and salute.